Zero Fossil Fuel back again. Just wanted to show you the components that I'm going to use to make the bobbin assembly for the bottom of the rotor. I have here a section of PVC which was originally a PVC end cap. Took a hacksaw and I cut it off, cut the bottom off, and on some very coarse sandpaper that I've used to finish wood floors, smoothed it out. I'll have to take off probably another eighth of an inch or so, because as it sits on top of the spindle I've got barely enough clearance underneath to create the whole bobbin. What I'll be doing is taking it against this piece of black plexiglass that I salvaged from some plastic shelving that they were throwing out at work. Always glad to save this kind of stuff, and I'll be just placing it in here, cutting out a couple of donut shaped discs, cutting out the center before I glue them together, and creating a bobbin assembly. The reason I've created this little video clip is because I need to ask your help. I'm a little dry on ideas for creating a raceway inside the bobbin. And if this roll of tape represents the inside part of the spool, which is this, what I need to create is a raceway that allows the bearing to ride up and then back down as the bobbin rotates with the rotor underneath. I need something that's malleable enough that I can change the attack angles, change the overall transition height, etc., but will be rigid enough to allow the ball bearing to stay centered on it and ride up and down. Obviously this is an exaggerated example, but because this is going to be much smaller and it will only have to move, you know, probably, let's see, maybe half an inch at the most. I'm going to say probably closer to 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch, because even with the mechanical leverage ratio, I only need the stator magnet to move 3 millimeters. So think about that. Anyway, if anyone's got any ideas of what I could use to create something around the perimeter, around the diameter of this inner sleeve to the bobbin that I can use as a raceway for the bearing, post a comment, please. Share your ideas. I'm a little dry right now. I'm going to go ahead and complete the process of building the bobbin. The bobbin will center itself at the base of the rotor assembly. There's not a lot of play there. I can just build it up with some electrical tape around the gear. That's not a big deal, and it'll sit there. And of course, true to form, I will hold it in place with sticky tape, my favorite adhesive of choice for temporary mounting of anything. And I will be able to remove the bobbin from the sticky tape and place it and rotate it ever so slightly to adjust the timing in relation to the rotor magnets. So that's not the issue. The issue is finding a material to build up on top of this inside the bobbin that the roller bearing can ride up and down on inside of it. If anybody has any good ideas, well, I'd sure like to see them, or hear them, or read them, whatever. Post it. Thank you. One quick note before you put your thinking caps on. I've already begun assembly of the bobbin. I've cut out a ring of plexiglass. This was quite a trick to do without cracking it. First one cracked as I tried retrieving the piece. This section of PVC pipe will glue very nicely to form one half of the bobbin, and I've decided not to create the second half, A, because it's a pain in the ass, and B, I already have the bottom of the rotor, which can become the second half of the bobbin. I already put some electrical tape. This is hard to show on camera. Alright, some electrical tape on the bobbin, or on the spindle. You can see that, and it centers the piece of PVC. This will be glued to the bottom, and I now have my nice little area to build a Raceway for the bearing, and there we go. Damn it. Alright. See if I can show this on camera. There we go. So I want the bearing to ride up and down inside as this thing rotates, and I'm going to need some form of material that I can add to this removable portion of the bobbin assembly underneath the rotor. So if you've got any ideas, please pass them along. Thank you. Zero fossil fuel back. Things are moving along pretty rapidly right now. I just wanted to show you one brief update on the bobbin assembly. I discovered that I have a new method of affixing devices together, and as opposed to sticky tape and hot glue, which is how I put together the bottom half of the bobbin assembly, the third alternative is friction. I have just enough electrical tape around the bottom of the spindle where I can take the bobbin assembly and press it into place, and it stays quite nicely, which will also allow me to adjust the position. Let's see if I can show you this. It's so much easier when I can move the camera head. Alright, I can just rotate this. So I'll be able to adjust the timing quite easily. And I'll also be able to take the bobbin apart and make changes to the Raceway, whatever form that may take, and put it back on and fix it back to the test jig. I have to figure out how I'm going to assemble the bearing arm, the arm with the bearing on it, so that I can swing it back into place after I assemble this together. Okay, well, a little more thought, but anyway, I'm sure I can overcome that small hurdle. If you have, again, any ideas for the bobbin underneath, so that the bearing, like I said, this is much easier when I can move the camera head, so that the bearing can do this up and down as it goes around and around. We should have something that will make history. Thank you very much.